Department of Interior released its second and final report on Indian boarding schools in the United States. While this is the end of the investigation by the Department of Interior, I want to stress that this is not the end of the overall investigations happening on both state and federal levels. Before I get started talking about some of the things that I have found in the report, there is a call to action. Please stay to the end to watch. A little context for me. My name is Birdie Sam. I am a descendant of an Indian boarding school survivor. My grandmother attended Wrangell in Alaska. My grandmother's name was Bessie, and I found her name in the Indian boarding school digital archive. I have been sharing my journey and what has been made publicly available about Indian boarding schools, the history, and the impacts today. The Department of Interior released its initial report in 2022, and what it released today expanded on those initial findings. It updated its official list of federal Indian boarding schools to include 417 institutions across 37 states or then territories, providing detailed profiles of each federal Indian boarding school. The Department of Interior also identified more than 1,000 federal and non-federal institutions that didn't fall under the definition of Indian boarding schools, but did advance the policy of assimilation. Those institutions include day schools, sanitariums, asylums, orphanages, and standalone dormitories. At those schools, the investigation identified at least 18,624 students entered the system, at least 973 students died while at the school, and the investigation also found at least 74 school burial sites were associated with these institutions, though the Department of Interior expects that the number of students, student deaths, burial sites, and funds spent on the schools to be far greater. My father works in repatriation, so much of what was in the report is not new information for me. However, one piece of information that I am having a very hard time processing is the discovery of contracts where children who attended Indian boarding schools were used as labor and they were never compensated, which is drastically shifting the conversation around these schools. And these documents are painting a very grim picture of assimilation for profit. But as I have been sharing the updates from this report, the biggest thing that is shocking people is how low the numbers are. That is because the research truly has only just begun, and it's only going to get harder. The Interior Department's investigation only investigated federal schools, not other institutions run by churches or religious organizations. Now, here's the call to action. I have been sharing this before, but the Truth in Healing Commission, or S-1723, is a bill that is making its way through Congress, and I need you to contact your senator to support this bill. If you're uncomfortable making the phone call or sending an email, I have a resist bot set up. This is for my US followers and for anyone else who would like to support, that is here in the United States. We have over 800 signatures so far. The Truth in Healing Commission legislation is Congress's response to this investigation. In summary, the commission would examine the location of children, document ongoing impacts from US Indian boarding schools, locate church and government records, hold culturally appropriate public hearings to collect testimony from survivors and descendants, gather institutional knowledge from subject matter experts, share findings publicly, and provide a final report with a list of recommendations for justice and healing. The group I recommend folks support on this subject is the Native American Boarding School Healing Coalition. They are on social media, and you can follow them and hear when they have calls to action. My dad has done work with them in the past, and I always defer to them on this subject. The key takeaways right now is that the Indigenous community is going to be grieving for a very long time. And the main ask that I am hearing from survivors is that allies take the time to really learn about what happened. These are some books that I recommend folks read in order to become familiar with what information has been available so far, and you'll be prepared for the information that will be revealed going forward. Hi, if you've made it this far in the video, I'm Birdie Sam. I am Tlingit from Southeast Alaska. My dad is Bob Sam. He does repatriation work for our tribe, and I talk a lot about repatriation, tribal sovereignty, and the history of Indian boarding schools. You can support my work by following here on social media. You can also check me out on Patreon, and of course, share the video. All right, I will see you next time.